Ah, this place is so chill and beautiful. I love it. It's the perfect place to test out another spell, checking out their different spell paths. This one is on my Ice Wizard. It's one of my favorite ice spells graphically, although it does need graphic update. Let's do a Snow Angel. I don't think this spell gets enough love. It is just beautiful. So the interesting thing is, I always liked the fact that it was damage and damage over time, and it taunted, which is kind of interesting. But it seems that in 2020, they removed that part of it, which is really interesting. I'm sure a lot of people thought it was useless, but the fact that I haven't noticed for 4 years tells me how often I use this spell. And it also used to do a lot more for the initial hit. Yeah, it used to do 100 damage and then 660 over 3 rounds, which that was pretty nice actually. Then once they removed the taunt, and by the way, they never changed the pip cost, then it went down to 35 damage, which is literally nothing, and then 660 over 3 rounds to all enemies. And it doesn't look like it's changed hardly anything since then, which is kind of sad. Especially since when you look at how the path progresses, and this is a no PvP, no advanced combat path, the upper path, the initial hit of 35 stays exactly the same. Why, oh why, I couldn't tell ya. And not only that, the damage for the over 3 rounds doesn't even go up by 100, which is just ridiculous. This spell, honestly, it really needs some love. So to tier 1 to tier 2, the secondary, the overtime damage only goes up by 15, which means only 5 per round. Same thing for tier 2 to tier 3, goes up by 15. Tier 3 to tier 4 goes up by 15. Again, only on the overtime part, not on the initial hit. And then the very same thing for tier 4 to tier 5. However, if you choose the lower path, this is now a choosing your target's path. You can choose between 1 and 4 targets, and this one is usable in PvP and advanced combat. However, this is no longer a damage and damage over time. It is strictly a damage hit, which is nice. And then it will gambit, aka use up traps for a universal weakness on them. That's pretty cool. Now this one we can actually set up. So this time I'm actually going to start with the bottom path because I'm curious of how this works. Now we don't have enough to get it up to tier 3. That would take 115 spellements. These are spellements that can drop in Worlds of Arc 2. If you've already passed those, you can get them from the Morgant Saga Spellement Pack, which drops spellements that are mostly for your school, but some for other schools. The one thing that can be a deterrent for this spell is that it's 8 pips, so you're not going to be able to cast it as quickly as some of the other potentially more powerful spells. Alright, I promise I'm not going to try and boost it up with Epic because it's a lower path and that won't work. So let's just put some traps on. Last time I tried this, well, the person defeated him in 1 hit, so, you know. I'll just do it solo. But again, this is 8 pips, so we got to wait. Well, good thing I put this bubble on that gives me a 20% accuracy. It just put another mantle on me. So anyhow, we're just gonna go click, and we're gonna do both of them to see what difference we have. Come on, don't fizzle. Woohoo! Oh, they're so big, unfortunately. You're gonna be blocking out part of the spell. By the way, the spell itself is kind of big. I mean, it is a cloaked figure on a Pegasus, so. Alright, so there's 2 traps left after that. Oh, what the? Yeah. Okay, those 2 are gone, but because it's so darn big and fat, you can't see them. You can kind of see the weaknesses right there. 30% weakness. At least that one was actually accurate with the 30% weakness. Alright, let us do some damage by putting some blades on. Okay, let's hit them. Now, none of them have any traps on, because I'm just trying to kill. Wow, it's still alive. Oh, yeah, you put another one on. Fantastic. Confirm, because there's only one of you rascals alive. Probably gonna fizzle. Ha-ha! Yes! Haha! Well, that was a bit of a struggle, but just because I was testing it out and not boosting it up properly beforehand. That one is definitely awesome, but I would like to just test out the top one for old time's sake. Oh my goodness. That was kind of cool. So now this one is doing 15 more damage on the overtime, which again is only 5 more per turn, but it's just AoE, so I don't have to choose which ones I'm going to hit. By the way, technically the top path has more damage, but the bottom path can only do this if you only hit one target. Other than that, it's separated, but as you saw, if you boost it up, you can definitely do some damage. So let's do some damage. I'm sad that it doesn't have the taunt anymore, but I can upgrade it. So now instead of 35 and 675 over 3 rounds, it separates that 300 from epic into the initial damage and the overtime. So now it's doing 185 and then 825 over 3 rounds to all enemies. But I have a few turns before I can actually use it, so let's boost. If I'm going to choose any of the choose your target paths, it's definitely going to be for the after effect, because it's so much faster to just click and it hits everybody. Alright, I finally have enough to cast this thing. Yes, get him! Well, these guys are kind of in the way of the spell too. I want to see it. I love to see it. Beautiful. Ooh, that's a nice initial hit. And then we fly away. Woo! 1311. Pass. Okay, we got 1311. Oh, that's neat. Yep, 1311 each round. That's pretty nice. And while I'm waiting for those 8 pips to happen, I can just keep putting more blades on me. You know what? I'm just gonna let it kill the killipedes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Look at it. They just got smacked by a ghost. That was pretty cool, actually. Even if you had 4 starting pips, I don't think you'd be able to get 8 right away. But you never know. Alright, you rascals. You put enough weaknesses on me, you punks. Take your medicine. At least they're low-level weaknesses. Ugh. Wow. Booyah. Gorgeous. Woo. Woo. That's a lot. The good thing is that even though this is a damage and then damage over time, and you have to wait for those damages, it definitely seems like most of what I would hit with this, especially mobs, will definitely be perished before I can cast it again. Because right now, I only have 6 pips. And they dead. Looks like you just sucker punched him right in the side of the head. Yay! I can cast it! Boosh! Okay, this time I have no weaknesses on me, and 2 blades, one of them is sharpened. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Love it. Thank you. Haha, so much damage to you. Ooh, you almost dead. Yeah, it would be way too hard to do a 1-2 punch with this, even if I had full school pips. But you could do something like blizzard right afterwards or something. However, I can't upgrade that one. Bleh. And again, they're dead before I have a chance to cast anything else. Yes. Of course, it helps that she's an ice and has over 10,000 health, and, you know, outlasting your enemy is the name of the game when you're ice. So, Snow Angel, which path shall we set it on? For now, at least. Here's the dilemma. This is a lot of damage, which is fantastic. It's amazing. I love it. The bottom path, however, while you're waiting for those rotten 8 pips, you can be putting traps on them. Or you can set it up with another player where they put traps on, and then you hit them, because that 30% weakness is pretty darn sweet. And it helps that all of the damage is right away. But I can't boost it up, so not only do you get all the damage at once, but it is separated in between the targets. So unless you're only hitting one, I'm not going to get that 705. And I can't boost it. But there's always blades and auras and traps and such. Wow, this is super hard. You know, I actually think I'm going to reset this and put it on the bottom path just because of the fact that it's super unique, and I would probably only use this spell in a boss fight anyway, so then I would just use this to hit the boss and give that rat a weakness. Plus, on a spell that I almost never use, it's something unique. And sometimes with her, expediency is the name of the game. Not that waiting 3 rounds for your target to die is that bad, but I like to kill him a little faster. So this is what I'm going to leave it on. 705 damage divided between whichever targets I pick, and then using up to 4 traps for 30% universal weaknesses. Yes. I think that's a good choice for this particular wizard. But let me know, what do you think? Did you choose a different path? Did you choose the same path? How do you like it if you did? Do you ever use it? I do like that spellements give new life to spells that, honestly, we just don't use at all. A max level wizard is not going to be using a frost beetle. We're just not. Even if there's some cheating boss that requires you to have, I don't know, 4 or less pip spells only, still not going to use the frost beetle. But if the frost beetle can use a shield and give you a bonus, okay, maybe that's a reason to use it again. Thanks so much, everyone, for checking out this look at exploring the different paths of Snow Angel spell, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Yayas.